Tiger football here on KCOU, presented by El Rancho. OU up 3-0, and now the Sooners with a chance to add to it at the Missouri 44-yard line.
Yeah, Missouri going forward on 4th down and 1. They don't get it. That's a big gamble right there, especially in a low-scoring game. And they try to give it to their best player in Luther Burden. This Oklahoma defense, I mean, they have shown so much resiliency, especially in a difficult season for them, for their standards. Only one SEC win so far, but this defense has looked energized throughout. And so far tonight, I mean, they have just overpowered Missouri's offense.
Well, 10:47 here to go second quarter. This might be a spot you take the shot here on the Missouri side of the field. They'll start with Arnold in the gun. Tatum Taylor, the back to the left hip of Arnold. Stands in on 1st and 10 from the Missouri 44. He takes the snap. He fakes the handoff, now throws out to Farouk in the flat, who barely catches his balance at the 45, now angling towards the 40 and shoved out of bounds. Rather harshly, might I add, by Sidney Williams. Gain of 4 there on 1st down.
Yeah, Jaleel Farouk getting involved. He broke his foot in week 1, had to have surgery tonight, his first game back, so it's going to be interesting to see the usage for him as he gets involved right there. The foot looks just fine. But a good play by the Missouri defense.
2nd and 6 for the Sooners. Arnold takes the snap. He keeps running right, plenty of room. 35-30, 25-20, and run out of bounds by Nick DeLoach right there at the 20-yard line, and the Sooners back in the red zone.
I don't think anybody in the stadium knew that Jackson Arnold still had that ball. I thought he handed it off. The entire Missouri defense broke towards the line thinking he handed off, and they moved quickly.
1st down 10 now for the Sooners at the Missouri 20. Working from the right hash on 1st and 10. Arnold in the gun. Takes the snap. Takes the handoff, now trying to throw. Rolling right, gets away from Walker. Now to the 20 and runs out of bounds there at about the 19-yard line. Good pursuit there, chased out of bounds by Corey Flagg.
He ends up not getting a whole lot on that play, but Johnny Walker had the opportunity for the sack, and Arnold was quick with his feet to avoid that sack. They're really heavy with these fake handoffs for this Oklahoma offense.
Little RPO there. Good job by Missouri to cover it. They'll mark him at the 20, so it will be 2nd down and 10 now for the Sooners. Missouri trying to get lined up here. OU with some motion as well. Arnold in the gun. Still it's Taylor to his left hip on 2nd and 10 from the Missouri 20-yard line. Takes the snap. Hands to Sharp, the tight end, running right. Tries to reverse field and taken down at the 25. Chuck Hicks able to chase him down. Bauer Sharp's quick, but he's not that fast on his feet.
Yeah, and a little shove after the play by Bauer Sharp on Chuck Hicks. That's
Hicks
your reaction.
Was in his ear too.
That's your reaction. And for Bauer Sharp, I mean, he pretty much just loses his footing. Chuck Hicks will get credited with the tackle, but Sharp was going down either way.
So ball just past the Missouri 24-yard line. Oklahoma needs their 10 here on 3rd down. Trying to punch it into the end zone this time. 2 receivers either way. Arnold working from the left hash. He takes the snap. Missouri brings 5, throws quickly over the middle, complete at the 18-yard line, and immediately brought down by Dalen Carnell. And again, some more talking after the play. That was Deion Bergson on the reception.
Yeah, there's Deion Burks, the other guy that they got back. The Purdue transfer, having a big season before he suffered a soft tissue injury in late September against Tennessee. He is back, and this one gets the reception, but it's not enough for the 1st down, and on comes the field goal unit once again.
So Zach Sharp, 4 for 4 on the season. He'll try this one from inside inside the right hash. Schmidt 5 for 5 on the season, 1 for 1 on the day. This one from 35. Chance to make it 6-0 Oklahoma. Snaps away, hold is good, kick is up, and he drilled it once again. So with 7:58, Oklahoma takes a 6-0 lead, but again, Missouri able to stop them inside the red zone. We'll step aside. Again, Oklahoma 6, Missouri nothing. This is Tiger football on KCOU. The bottom third of the Rochester Order all day at Cortez and Keegan Landis. Well, as if to illustrate the dominance from this Border Cats pitching staff. This will be all day, and Cortez's just 3rd at bats of the ball game in the bottom of the 8th.
That's right. Yeah.
Landis came in as a substitute. It'll be his 2nd, but nonetheless, they have been good. Led off by Koswick. And I tell you what, Humphrey has followed suit.
Well, Border Cat pitching has faced no more than 4 batters in any inning so far.
Quickly, ahead 0-2 is Humphrey. This one sails upstairs.
They faced 4 in the 1st, 4 in the 2nd. and 4 in the 6th. Other than that, minimum.
1-2, punch, diving. Play from Lopez, can't get there. And on Day with a nice piece of hitting. Try and kickstart the Hawkers here in the 8th. The Northwoods League is proud to partner with the Authentic Stadium Mustard this season. For over 50 years, Stadium Mustard has been offered at stadiums, ballparks, and arenas coast to coast. And the Rochester Hawkers are proud to be serving Stadium Mustard here at Mayo Field, loved by millions. Stadium Mustard, as you saw, just teed up the changeup.
Yeah, right off towards the end of the bat there, and just was able to poke it into left field beyond the diving Lopez.
I'll bring up Cortez looking for his first hit of the ball game. He fouls the fastball away.
Cortez, a guy who can put a charge in it. He has not done so today. He's had a couple of infield ground outs, one of which was an inning-ending double play back in the 2nd. Big hack at that one.
Boy, you see the velo. Just 90 miles an hour. Catch me if you can from Humphrey. And that is a tough pitch every time to go find. He just hurls it in there, and with that frame, all the more difficult. Rung him up, strike 3 on the outside.
So Cortez sees only the minimum, fouls one off, swings at one, and then watches that third one.
And so Keegan Landis, who, as we mentioned, had to come into this game as a sub, kicked things off with an infield single back in the 6th. Although I think if it was anybody other than Corey Morrow there at second, probably does find the outfield grass. And a big spot here. Feels like the Hawkers need at least one in the 8th, if not 2, to give themselves a realistic chance at rallying in the 9th. 4 hits in tonight's ball game for Rochester, and I've not gotten a lot of help since.
They have not. That's right.
Since Jackson was walked in the 1st, no free passes issued. Miguel Cantu did reach on the error. We talked about it. That has been the Achilles heel of this Thunder Bay Ball Club. More walks than any other staff in the Northwoods League. Partner, you look at the 1 run today, came off that leadoff walk.
Exactly right. Exactly right. But then they got their act together after that. And as we have seen, flashes of brilliance here in Rochester from the Hawkers pitching staff on occasion. When you do, you get a good chance of winning ball games.
Landis puts a charge in the 2-1, but Smith up to the task as he trots over. Grab it for out number 2, and that'll bring Jake Jackson back to work. Jackson 2 hits yesterday, walked in the 1st, swiped 1 and scored. And then struck out looking at a slider, grounded to 2nd. Hoping to keep this 8th inning alive for Rochester.
Unless Jake Jackson can make something happen here, it'll be once again 4 honkers to the plate, and that's it.
A little smile after he took a awkward jab at that slider.
Half-hearted swing at that one.
Resets now 0-1. Boy, Humphrey, after that slider, 76, comes back with another one that just whips away from Jackson. He's got him behind here, 0-2. I wonder if this is where he goes back to that 90-mile-an-hour heater, tries and gets the strikeout. And there it was as he ran it in on the hands. Jackson, though, did enough to poke it back. Jackson watches that one away. Ball one.
Down 3-run, Max Ade, not a guy that's a big stolen base threat. He has just been parked out over there at first, and I think that's the right call at this point. No need to run yourself out of an inning when you're trying to come back.
Jackson laces this one, I think, a little bit too much on it. Snead can't make the grab. It's over its head. They'll send Audet around third. It's Jackson checking in at second. Just beating the throw is Audet. And he's fired up looking at the dugout. A big RBI double from Jackson. Maybe a little bit of a misread from Snead. But a huge swing from Jackson has fired the Hawkers right back into this one.
Well, that's that Jake Jackson smooth swing that he has.
Thing just kind of kept rising.
Yes. And it can be a tough time of night here to pick that up as the lights start to really kick in. And Snead just never got a good read on it. If he had, I think that's a ball he catches, but he ended up having to leap and it goes over his head. So a double with an RBI, and for the first time, the Honkers will send 5 batters to the plate in one inning.
Well, can Outlaw bring the Hawkers a little closer? We've seen some big hits from him this year. We've even seen some home run power at times. Could in theory tie this ball game up, but first things first.
Outlaw has reached once today on a single. It was one of those that Corey Morrow did a great job of corralling, but Will Humphrey just did not get over to the first base bag. So
Wickley has got Outlaw behind 0-2 after 2 straight heaters. His 0-2 chopped to Morrow, who can drift back and whip it over. Hawkers get 1 off 2 hits, and they strand 1 at second, still trailing by a pair. Top of the order to work for the Cats. You're watching the Northwoods Lake Sports Network. Yeah, it definitely is a strange setup. And I mean, you look down the rest of that schedule, and maybe outside of a home date against New Mexico, there's really not a game that you feel absolutely Auburn's a heavy favorite in. But, I also look at that schedule, and, I look at, 6 games Auburn could still very much win, especially based on the way they've played. I'm curious if you've talked to him at all. A lot's been made in the media circus, and this is always what happens about the relationship between Hugh Freeze and Peyton Thorne. But it seems like from his perspective, he's still very confident in his head coach. There was all this discussion about the 4th and 1. Where's he at mentally, and how do you think he's been preparing for this game?
I think he's been frustrated with the start of this season as well. I mean, he's the one that talked about it after the Arkansas loss, that he felt that Auburn was the better football team out there, and that was no disrespect to Arkansas. And there's no question that Arkansas team has improved as this season has gone along. And you know what? If I'm an Auburn, if I'm part of the Auburn family, I want my coach to think that we're winning those ball games. I want him to believe that we are the better team out there almost every week that Auburn goes out there. So, yeah, listen, there's got to be some frustration there because he thought this team would be better than it is right now. He knows that without turnovers, especially against Cal and Arkansas, Auburn likely wins those games. And Auburn had a 2-score lead in the 4th quarter at home against Oklahoma, an opportunity to win a game against a top 25 opponent. And to Oklahoma's credit, it came back and won that game. So, yeah, there's some frustration there. I think there's some frustration that the offense isn't further along than it is at this point. And he keeps getting this question about the 4th and 1 at Georgia, and I think he's kind of ready to be past that at this point. That was supposed to be a different play, giving the ball to Jarquez Hunter. It turned out to be it wasn't. Turned out it was blown up on the play, and that turned out to be, I think, the final turning point. And I think he's tired of answering that question, quite frankly.
I mean, I can imagine.
At this point, yeah.
I can imagine. And really, this is an Auburn team that, you look at any given statistic, they've moved the ball about as well as, a decent portion of this conference. One of the other things that I kind of wanted to hit on is Hugh Freeze talking about giving the ball to Jarquez Hunter more. And certainly I understand that he is one of the better backs in this league. Oklahoma, he's up near 17 carries, but, Arkansas, Cal, Georgia, around kind of that 11, 12, 13 mark. Where's the sweet spot? How many times, especially coming off a bye week, where you got some time to get your body right, when Hugh Freeze is in there talking with Derek Nix about what they want to do running the football, what's the sweet spot where if they say, man, if Hunter can touch it X amount of times, I feel really good about our chances?
I think 20 to 25 times.
Wow.
I think that's a sweet spot for Jarquez Hunter. He only has 78 carries coming into this ball game. It's not as though he has been overused in the least coming into this game. I think, again, not speaking for the head coach, I think we will see more of Jarquez Hunter tomorrow. And I think he is Auburn's best offensive weapon, most established offensive weapon going into this ball game. And I think this is a kind of a game against a Missouri team that has the potential to be a quick strike team with Brady Cook and Theo Weiss and Luther Burden and, all those guys. That I think this is the kind of game that if Auburn can go in and establish the run game and control the clock, I think it's a big fact. I think that's what Vanderbilt did to Missouri with Pavia. And Auburn will see him in that first game in November. And by the way, that's the same quarterback that came into Auburn with New Mexico State last year and beat Auburn. And they did it by controlling the clock in that game. And I just get the sense that has the potential to be a very important factor